Hello and welcome to YTV's first show of 2014. I'm Raleigh, Cavero.
And I'm Madison, Alworth. Earlier this week, the Yale administration blocked Yale Blue Book Plus on university servers, making shopping period more stressful for many students who use the site. Known for offering an easy way to sort and compare classes, Blue Book Plus was developed by Yale seniors and brothers Peter Hsu and Harry Yu, and has been active for 3 semesters. The university cited its unauthorized use of the Yale logo, its accessibility to non-Yale students, and the prominence of class and professor ratings as reasons for blocking access to the site. Hsu and Yu attempted to accommodate the university's request by making changes to the site, but found it blocked without notice on Monday morning. Following a general outcry from many Yale students who criticized Yale's lack of transparency on the issue, it was announced Friday that Hsu and Yu are allowed to propose changes to Yale's policy through formal procedure, steps that pair said they plan to take in an attempt to bring back the course online.
And even though Yale has been reducing the number of early applications accepted, this year Yale received 4,750 early applicants. That's up 5.5% from last year. Dean of Admissions Jeremiah Quinlan attributed this to previous Dean Jeffrey Brenzel's desire to open more spots for applicants from the regular pool. Brenzel wanted to accept fewer early applicants because they consistently proved to be less diverse than the overall body of applicants. However, Yale has been slowly closing this gap. The improvement has been attributed to Yale advertising its generous financial aid policies and the admissions office's efforts to offer tours and information sessions across the country.
As part of his push to improve college graduation rates, President Obama held a conference last Thursday with 80 leaders from institutions of higher learning. Yale President Peter Salovey was among those in attendance at the conference, where he delivered Yale's plan to expand access to education. This plan includes efforts to improve outreach and increase the number of QuestBridge finalists enrolled at Yale. He also discussed the Freshman Scholars Program, which gives incoming freshmen the opportunity to engage in Yale coursework, seminar, activities, and trips for free the summer before their freshman year. Although some in attendance expressed concerns about the challenges of making cohesive policy with so many voices, President Obama was hopeful about the results of the event and promised more conferences in the future.
As of January 9th, students at Yale School of Management have the new Edward P. Evans Hall to call home. For a look at its groundbreaking technology and design, we go to reporters Alero Egby and Stephanie Siao.
Each feature of the Yale School of Management's new building is designed to foster transparency, communication, and connection. With numerous communal spaces and classrooms equipped with state-of-the-art and touchscreen technology, the Evans Hall establishes the Yale School of Management as a business school fit for the 21st century.
We wanted to build a building that was transparent, that was integrated, connected us with the city, with the rest of the campus, and basically with the world. And if something's going on in this classroom, a speaker, we can beam it to any other place, we can interact between cross classrooms.
Technology is everywhere in the building. The library is entirely digital, and each classroom is equipped with multiple screens, enhanced acoustics, movable podiums, and cameras for recording lectures.
The acoustical quality of the classrooms, the layout, the sightlines, the quality of materials used, and of course the technological capabilities make the classrooms, I think, truly unmatched.
Some New Haven residents, however, have protested against the building, stating that it is out of scale with the neighborhood and symbolizes inequality. Still, students at the School of Management appreciate the new design.
We used to have the Hall of Mirrors in the old building where it was, you could see people reflected and you could kind of see, it made the space seem bigger. Now to actually have that space embodied in the entire building is
plus the colors, like are fantastic, right? Like you have blue and then you have all over the yellows, and it's just, I think it really encapsulates like the spirit of this one.
Be a really cool place for people to want to gather and meet. I think that's really where it adds its value.
The newly designed Evans Hall keeps the school's management programs fresh, welcoming, and interactive. Back to you in the studio.
For undergrads hoping to get a jump on business school tours or just looking for a cool new study space, the School of Management is hosting an open house on January 24th from 3 to 5 p.m.
A suit filed on December 20th against Yale University and 3 faculty from the Yale School of Management has Yale in the midst of another gender-related controversy. Constance Bagley, a professor at the School of Management, claims in the suit that her professorship was not renewed in May 2012 because of her gender and age. Bagley spent 18 months on her own attempting to overturn the decision. However, it was upheld despite assessments by 3 separate faculty committees. Although the first committee unanimously recommended she be reappointed, and the third committee found evidence that she had been subjected to inappropriate comments based on gender, the Board of Permanent Officers decided not to renew her professorship in October. Bagley will remain on the faculty through the end of the year while the case is being reviewed.
Since the fatal U-Haul collision at the 2011 Harvard-Yale tailgate, Yale students have seen some changes to tailgating rules, but 86 current and former students are facing much worse consequences in court. Each member of the Sigma Phi Epsilon fraternity at the time of the incident is being sued individually for damages from the accident. 30-year-old Massachusetts native Nancy Berry was killed there, and SOM student Sarah Short was injured. Short and Berry's estate both filed the 86 lawsuits last month after first trying to sue the National Seg Ep fraternity. Because Connecticut state law defines Yale's Seg Ep chapter as voluntary, the national organization said its insurance does not cover the Yale chapter's actions. 84 of the defendants are represented by Jeremy Plattick, an attorney based in White Plains, New York. Paul Edwards, who represents Berry's estate, says that this is likely a sign that the national organization is assisting with the case. He says, quote, "I would be surprised if all the fraternity members had collectively gotten together and decided to hire one lawyer on such short notice. The odds are very high that he was appointed to represent them by the national fraternity." Neither the national fraternity nor local chapter members could be reached for comment.
With the December 9th vote, the Yale faculty approved a new way of participating in university governance. The vote, which passed by a 49-7 margin with 4 abstentions, provided approval for the creation of a Senate, which will be a representative body composed of elected members of the faculty. Yale's professors had expressed concern about their role in university decision-making following the development of Yale NUS, a process many faculty members felt excluded from. Now, a committee appointed by President Salovey will discuss the Senate's structure and submit recommendations to the Faculty of Arts and Sciences no later than December. The Senate will replace the monthly faculty meetings that currently facilitate discussion between Yale professors and administrators.
And the Yale Police Department's SWAT team, that's right, SWAT team, first rolled out during the old campus gunman scare. YTV's Jack Newsham caught up with them in December to give us some more information on these lesser-known capabilities of the Yale Police Department.
On November 25, 2013, Yaleys were woken up by a frightening series of text messages. After a mysterious call mentioning a gunman, Old Campus was locked down, and news outlets across the country reported on the hunt for a purported gunman in or near freshman residence halls before the tip-off was eventually ruled a hoax. But one detail, for the most part, went unmentioned. The gunman scare was the first time the Yale Police Department's SWAT team rolled out.
Our SWAT team trains twice a month, and it just happened to be a training day. They were actually the first SWAT team out of the 4 SWAT teams that did respond on November 25th.
In recent decades, SWAT teams have proliferated across the country, with rural counties and small college towns alike adding specially armed and trained police units to their forces. But not so many universities boast a SWAT team. As of 2005, according to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, 9% of 4-year colleges reported having a tactical unit of some kind. Yale's team started in fall 2007.
Following the tragedy at Virginia Tech, Chief Parati at the time believed that it was absolutely necessary for the Yale University Police Department to have the capacity to respond.
Most students were surprised to learn the university had a SWAT team.
I would assume that like a local police station wouldn't have such a focused group.
But opinions were divided.
I don't know, I feel like they have to have it if they, with all of like the school shootings and stuff. I don't really feel like Yale could defend not having a SWAT team like after an incident happened.
Assistant Chief Michael Patton was the team's first leader.
And probably somewhere in the middle of the spring of 2008, we were quote-unquote operational.
Today, the SWAT team includes 15 officers. Most of the time, they're conducting patrols in normal police uniforms, with just a small eagle pin on their chest. But twice a month, they suit up.
This is our entry vest. This is a Cavero helmet.
In more than 40 pounds of gear, and train with a variety of weapons and special equipment.
This is the camera.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Oh, that's incredible.
So that you can just like wrap it around.
And it just kinks or something.
It kinks, it goes around tables.
Despite tens of thousands of dollars spent by law enforcement on responding to and investigating the prank call that led to November's lockdown, a suspect still hasn't been named. For YTV, I'm Jack Newsham.
Thanks, Jack. Yale's SWAT team was one of 4 SWAT units on campus during the November gunman scare.
With the opening of a new bar on Elm Street, Box 63 might be facing some competition for the patronage of Yale students. 372 Elm, occupied by Elm Bar since 2010, is now home to 3 Sheets. The address is perhaps the most famous for being the longtime home of Rudy's, which in 2010 was forced by the property's landlord to relocate to its current location on Chapel Street. The bar was opened by 2 local fishermen and former frequenters of Rudy's, Rick Seaton and Ed Thurshman. They took out a 10-year lease on the space and plan to offer a diverse menu of food from local ingredients. Every female gymnast in Yale's history has one thing in common: head coach Barbara Tonry. Tonry has been at the helm of Yale Gymnastics for over 40 years and is gearing up for another season with the Yale Bulldogs. For more, we go to Georgiana Wagman.
Thanks, guys. Tonry was hired in 1973 to start Yale's gymnastics program and quickly transformed a non-competitive club team into the first ever women's varsity team from Yale to clinch an Ivy League title.
She has experience from the past and she brings it forward to the future.
Having her with all of her stories and just like knowing how hard she worked to start a program really like motivates us to work really hard to keep that going.
With an astounding new program and a 1977 Ivy League championship win, Tonry was just getting started.
We had the first Ivy League championships in 1977. We won that. We were the first women's team at Yale to win an Ivy championship.
Through all those years of experience, Tonry has become not only a decorated coach, but also an important mentor to her gymnasts.
It really makes you want to do it for the team, which is something that in gymnastics, you don't really understand that before you come to college.
Over break, she sent us this really inspirational email about just like training over break and like being motivated while staying at home, which was really, really great.
She does push us though. You have to be pushed, otherwise you're not going to realize you can reach those higher goals. So she does push us, but she's very caring and understanding.
Over 40 years of success, however, does not come without its challenges. Last March, the team faced a tragic blow with the loss of Don Tonry, its assistant coach, and more importantly, Barbara's husband. Tonry helped develop a men's program that won 3 consecutive titles upon its formation.
My husband had been recruited here from West Point to be the coach here and to teach at Yale University. He said, "Can you come help, because I can't do the men and the women and all of this." So I said, "Oh, okay."
Like most other challenges, the team faced the loss as a family. In October, current teammates and gymnastics alumni from some of the first Tonry teams attended a memorial service in Battelle Chapel to remember Tonry.
Obviously, it's really, really sad for Barb and for us, but I think we want to win Ivies this year in his honor.
They tell me, "You got us," and I love that. You got us.
Despite the changes, the Bulldogs' goal will remain the same as ever.
Our biggest goal is to do well at Ivies. We would love an Ivy title, but even just going out there and doing our best and hitting 24 for 24 teams would be our goal.
The women's gymnastic team faces Penn on January 25th at Yale's Payne Whitney Gymnasium and hosts 3 other teams at the Bulldog Invitational the following weekend. For YTV, this has been Georgiana Wagman. Back to you.
Thanks, Georgiana. The Yale Gymnastics team is attempting to capture its first Ivy League title since 2005.
And tonight we are excited to introduce the first piece in a new segment called Weekend Take 2. This will take a fresh look at cultural and social events around campus. This week, weekend reporter Leah Motzkin went to cross campus to interview students about their experiences with the polar vortex over winter break. Leah?
As we returned to campus after winter break, the country was still recovering from the attack of the polar vortex. We headed to cross campus to see what students experienced at home and get their take on the cold days that are hopefully behind us.
So I was wondering, do you guys know what the polar vortex is?
Yes.
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 I've heard of it.
Can you explain a little bit about it to me?
What I think it is?
Yeah, what is it?
I think it's like a polar front from the northern ice caps that's come in recently, made everything really, really cold.
More intense, questionably real. It sounds a little bit like a super villain. I will unleash my polar vortex.
So what, just from those words, what do you think it could be?
Part of the rain, maybe?
Part of the rain?
I don't know, I'm not too sure. I know it's just a bunch of wind in the Arctic, and I'm not sure if there's not enough pressure that comes in to move it away, but in the winter, it just stays in the Arctic, and then when it warms up, you know, the wind it just separates, it just goes, disperses.
I was wondering, do you know what the polar vortex is?
I'll see you later.
But because of changes in the atmosphere, moved very far south to sit over North America, which brought freezing temperatures to the rest of the country.
Did it affect your break in any way?
It did. I went to the south this break, and it's supposed to be hot, but it was cold instead. So
it wasn't super cold, but I was working in an ambulance, and we had a lot of very cold people, and a lot of injuries related to that.
Really? Can you talk about some of the injuries?
It just makes every normal injury a little bit more severe. People that hang outside normally, like homeless people, things like that.
It's a sore subject.
It's a sore subject. Can you tell me a little bit about why?
Well, I got this cold sore.
That's cool. Have you heard of any like polar vortex horror stories?
Yeah, my roommate, she lives in Wisconsin, and she, like, her screen door froze, I think.
People died. Yeah, I heard of the people who were throwing boiling water in the air and then to see it freeze, and then they had to go to the hospital.
I heard about someone's car getting buried in snow, which apparently happens in Minnesota.
Can I ask you a question for YTV?
I'm good, thank you though.
Okay. So, would you ever consider writing about the polar vortex, and what would your story be about?
I mean, it sounds like a dope story. We could talk about, like, have some type of story with, like, a character getting stuck in the polar vortex, and, like, his girl's, like, locked in the vortex, and he's gotta pull her out.
So there's, like, a literal vortex.
Yeah,
okay, I'm into it. This has been Leah Motzkin bringing you Weekend Take 2. Stay warm, everybody.
Thanks, Leah. We'll do our best.
And that's it for tonight. Thanks for watching YTV this Sunday evening.
And this is the last time that you'll say that sign-off, because we are changing our air time. We'll move from Sundays at 5 p.m. right now to Fridays at 3 p.m.
We hope this will give you a little more time to watch over the weekend. As always, we'll see you next week, because it's your Yale